Hi everyone, I'm Andrew Brown, Head of Product Design here at Mattermost. I'd like to spend 5 minutes sharing the amazing work the design team has done over the last year to help build out Mattermost's design system, Compass. Why Compass? Well, just as a compass points everyone in the same direction, a design system does the same thing for a product and a brand team. Since the Mattermost brand is also embodied by the compass symbol, we've called our design system Compass Design System. It's Mattermost's true north when it comes to design. What is a design system? In short, a design system is a collection of guidelines and patterns and components that are supported by standards and documentation. A design system helps a team have a shared understanding of the design approach and establishes a shared visual language for products and communications. Why a design system? Well, having a documented design system helps us achieve the following goals. Promotes consistency in our design solutions, ensures our products and communications have a cohesive look and feel, enables efficiency in design and developing new features with reusable patterns, cuts down on design review times, saves time making global style changes, provides a shared language for the organization to talk about design, and much, much more. Now that we know a little bit about why we created this design system, let's dig in and check out the design system itself. So our design system starts with the foundations, and those are the basic building blocks of the system. Every interface and element uses these foundations in some form or another. They usually consist of color, typography, shape, iconography, elevations, layout, and even our style guide is included in here. I'm just going to briefly walk through some of the quick sections. So with color, one of the things that we stepped back to take a look at was how can we have a much more scalable color palette with our theming, thinking about things such as accessibility, bringing in semantic colors for alerts and info, success, warning states, and a variety of different shades and variations on color to make sure that we are solving problems with color as needed. Another area in the design system is typography. So this allows us to really see what the type system is going to look like and how it works throughout Mattermost. So our two primary font choices that we're using are Metropolis and Open Sans within the product today. We've built a type scale that is a ratio of font sizes that have a scale of 1 to 1/8, which means each size is multiplied or divided by 1.125 from the previous size, and starting with the base font and then rounded. That gives us a nice even scale across the typography and the interface. Another area is shape. So we have a few primary shapes that we use within the app: rectangle, rounded rectangle, pill shape, and circles. And you'll see those sprinkled throughout the application. Next is iconography. We have different icons that we use throughout the app to help tell different stories for the user. We have a variety of sizes that help support that story throughout the UI as well. You can see a pretty comprehensive list and our UIcon library nested in here as well. Also within the application, you'll start seeing more elevation. This is a good way to provide distance between objects and just help things pop off the canvas more. And then one of the main core foundations is layout. So spacing, padding, our grid system, which we use an 8-pixel grid system currently, but we do support down to a 4-pixel grid system to give us a little bit more vertical rhythm when we need it. Next is the writing style guide. This is just a documentation of how we like to write and the voice and tone that we take within the UI itself. The next section I want to go over are the components. So the components are reusable building blocks that make up the core elements of the interface. This is going to be buttons and icon buttons, chips, menu items, the channel sidebar components, tags, and things of that nature. One example I'd like to drill into is buttons. So the way we structured the design system is we really give a comprehensive overview of each component. And while it might just seem like a button, there's a lot that actually goes into it. We start off with the anatomy in each section for the components to give us as users, us as product designers, the developers, an understanding of how the button or the component itself is structured. Next, there's a bunch of details describing the sizing from extra small to large in this case. We have emphasis on the buttons with the different variants for states: default, hover, active, focus, disabled. The primary, secondary, and tertiary buttons that are used throughout the app. Also, You can kind of see the inverted style and destructive actions of the buttons. And one of the really nice things with what we've been doing with this design system is this design system, as you're seeing it here, is meant for the designers to use those components when they're building designs, and for everyone else to read through and understand how the components are used in the system of design at Mattermost. And we are working with the UI platform team to actually build out all of those design components in a code environment. So this is an example of one of the coded UI components in Storybook, which you can see from the design system is one of our button components. So jumping back here, and what this allows us to do is actually play with the component in a live and isolated environment. So we can set if it's a disabled button and see the state change. We can interact with the button and see the different hover states that are available. We can change the text. We can change the variance to get a feel for how things are changing within an environment. We can change the icons. We support all the icons that we support in our icon library are available here. And also change the position if it's a starting or an end or a trailing icon. The next section that I'd like to cover outside of components are the patterns. So the patterns are larger building blocks that you will start to see the multiple components come together and start creating interface elements. And a great example of that is a modal. We see them all the time. Here's an example of the modal anatomy. You know, you've got the button components nested in there. You have text components, body copy components, and you can see where spacing comes into play and how that's structured inside of a modal, and all of the different options as far as spacing, scrolling positions within a container. We can scroll down a little bit more here, look at some of the actions that are supported in the footer, how pagination is represented. If there's some type of progress and we want to inform the user of that in the UI, we can show that. So you can really see it's a pretty comprehensive breakdown of the structure of patterns, components, and how all those things come together to really help make the interface work cohesively. You can also find some additional resources in here. This is the lighter of the sections, just documenting our fonts and how we actually add icons to our library right now. So yeah, just jumping back over, you know, I want to just say thank you to the design team for all their hard work over the last year. This has been a big project for us to take on as a smaller team, and it started at the last MatterCon. So excited to see this evolve into the future. Again, wanted to say thank you. And if anybody has questions or would like more information regarding the design system, you can reach out to us in the UX design channel on the community server or reach out to anyone on the UX team. Thanks, and I hope everyone enjoyed. Have a great day.